All right, I'm back. I had to clear clear some space on my iPad, so it cut off. Basically, you really didn't miss much. As I was telling you, and it's not perfect, but I just rolled up the glue like this inside the pocket so it wouldn't show. And I got a little bit of showing right here, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. And you could, you know, if you wanted to, as long as you don't tear your hinge, you could get something and just kind of work it up so you can't see it so much. But, you know, it's not perfect. And like I said, you could always line it with some ribbon or some, you know, and that'll just, you know, kick it up a notch, you know. Sorry, that's that. Anyway, it's so violent. IT people always speak in violent terms. I don't know if you've ever realized that. But anyway, you know, like crashed, and when you reboot something, oh gosh, what do I always say? I forget. Anyway, they're just terms that are so dramatic, I will say. Okay, so what I did that you missed is I did cut my photo mats for inside my pocket, and I cut these and I measured them all, and I've made sure that they all look even. You know, just made sure that they look even. And this is the part that I was telling you about that I was a little bit concerned about, because normally I don't normally have my pages as short where there's this much of the book showing. So that was the part that I talked about in a few videos before, that's something that aesthetically bothered me, but I've been thinking about it, and I have a lot of great ideas how we're going to work that into the book. So I cut my photo mats longer, if you can see that. I still have enough room to put my charm closure, and it's not going to smash my pages, but I'm going to show you how we're going to work with that. And the photo mats that I cut for my book, which is, right, we talked about the sizes earlier in the process video. They're approximately 9.5 by 6.5. Okay, so the photo mat that I cut is 8 and 3. It's 8. It's 8.5. And it's just a little tad longer than 8.5. I think I went with 8. I think my thinking was 8 3/4, but man, my measuring is just like really crazy off. Yeah, 8 3/4. Okay, 8 3/4 for a page that is about 9 inches. Okay, so about 8 3/4. Just cut one first and then fit it and see if it fits easily. You know, you don't want to fight with it when you're trying to get it back in. So 8 3/4 by, we did 5 3/4. Originally I had said in a couple videos back that I was going to do it 5.5. I decided to come out longer, okay? And so I did 5 3/4. So 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. And then I just fit them all in to make sure before I tack paper on that it was pleasing to me. And I do like this length, so I'm good with it. So I'm going to go ahead and take these out, okay? And I need to select the paper that I'm going to use to lay on those mats. And you know, the funny thing is I was going to do that offline, and I didn't. However, that's okay. We'll go ahead and try to do this as quickly as possible. I will try not to be as crazy about it, because basically, there again, I want mats that are complementary to my page. I generally just put designer paper on one side. You can do it on both sides if you want. And you can, you know, round your corners and all of that. I'm going to go with just a square corner because I don't have a lot of punches here, so I'm just going to stick with that. And you know, and I'm not even a hater of the idea that the mat might have the same paper that's on the front page. I mean, that doesn't bother me terribly. But actually, I think what I'm going to do is, yeah, I'm just going to look and see what I've got going on here in the first couple pages. All right. All right, so just so I have an idea, I'm going to use this paper for the first mat. And it kind of, to me, it kind of matters, you know. Okay, so these are, and I should write this down because y'all know I'm like crazy. I'm like a crazy woman. We did 8 3/4, and I can't see that, so I need another piece of scrap paper. 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. I believe that was our final number. I'm just going to take a piece of scrap paper and write that down. Is that right? Let me just double check me, because you know sometimes I have measurement issues. Yeah, 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, so how much do we take off of the designer paper? You can take off as little or as much as you want. I'm probably just going to take off a fourth of each side, which gives me 1/8 on either side. And I have an idea. So we're doing this together for the first time. I don't have this. I've not done this before, and we're gonna give it a go. So pardon me if it doesn't turn out perfectly. So if we're doing 8 3/4, so that really means that the paper that we're cutting is going to be 8 1/2. Oops, sorry, my writing's not very good. By 5 1/2. And we're going to measure it when we cut our first sheet. So okay. All right. So 8 1/2. And basically what this part of the video is, you know, I kind of overshot on my edge, and that's okay. We're going to make it work. It's going to be cool, y'all, I think. So we'll see here in just a moment. And these are design elements that I personally do not recall seeing in any other mini albums, but you know what? Maybe they are. I'm not sure. But it was just me thinking there was some way that I had to make it visually pleasing to me. I mean, okay, so this is a very tight, oh, nope, we got to come down a little bit. And maybe my measuring here is not right. I said 8 1/2. And that is 8 1/2. So we're going to do 8 1/4. All right, 8 1/4. Let's see. That might be too much. Let me look. And I should look on this thing because it seems like my measurements are. So that's 8 1/2. I think 8 1/4 will be fine. We're gonna see. I just want the same amount of edge on all 4 sides. So hopefully that wasn't too much. I might have took off too much. No, I mean I think it's okay. It's not exactly perfect, but it looks fine to me. I think that's okay. Let me see if I can get that in there so you can see. See the edge, the black edge? So that's what we're going to do. So I did 8 1/4. So I'm just going to change my number here so I'm not measuring stuff all crazy. You see, I have a pencil. I probably should just erase it, right? Oh, that's terrible. I just mucked up that whole paper. I said muck with an M. 8 1/4. I know I have a bunch of different funny or weird phrases that I use. I am from the South, so that's my excuse. I don't know. You don't really realize the things you say until you watch yourself on video. It's like, oh, why did I say that? Oh, yeah. But anyway. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink my edges. And I'm only doing one to start with because I have this idea and I just want to see how it's going to look. So I don't want to prepare all of them and then have to redo it, you know, all 4. So I'm just going to start with one and then we're going to go from there. And I really feel like I probably need a bigger piece of scrap paper. Yeah, okay, so we're doing 8 1/4 by 5 1/2 on the on the designer paper. It's still not even, it's still, I can't see that, y'all. I don't have my glasses on. I did not put my glasses on. I should have put my glasses on. All right. 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. Scrap paper. Okay, we'll work with that. All right, so I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and tape that down. Just try to get it on there the best I can here. Get it on there as even as I can. I haven't smushed it down, so I'm just kind of manipulating it to try to get it straight. Okay. Got it on there straight. Alright, so my idea is, which I'm kind of tickled about. Hopefully it works out okay. This will be an interesting adventure. Just going to put this in here. Alright, and I might have could have gone just a little bit, could have just gone just a little bit longer actually, but that's okay. Where's my measure, my ruler? There it is. Okay, so I have about 3/4 of an inch here showing. And what I want to do, so 3/4 of an inch, if I do a 1/2 an inch, I have this Martha Stewart punch that I got, okay? So it's about an inch. So I really need to, that's not gonna, it's gonna be a little longer than I wanted it to be. But we're still gonna try it. We'll see what it does. So the black paper, I think I actually want to cut it to be, this is about an inch. So we're gonna do 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches by, we got 1.5 inches by 8. Yep, okay, so I'm going to do 1.5 inches by 5 by 8. 1.5 inches by 8. Grab some of my scrap paper because I think I've got some that'll work. And I'm cutting off screen here. And all I'm doing is cutting a strip that is 8 inches long and 1.5 inches wide. As straight as I can possibly get it here. Okay. Alright. So I have my strip. And what I'm thinking, I think it'll be okay. Alright, this is what I'm thinking. And oftentimes what I do is I turn them over, okay? So I can see where my paper is. And what I'm going to do is, this may become a template, all right? And I have a pencil here. So ideally what I'd like to do is get that in the center as much as I can, okay? So if I go all the way, it's going to be too far up. So what I want to do is just get it in the center as much as I can. And you don't have to do this. I'm just doing this because it makes me feel like it's a finished thing. So you could just put ribbon on there, you know. All right, so I want to, sorry, I need to hold it like this. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, trying to make sure it's in the center. I want it in the center as much as possible. All right, so I got that, and then I'm just going to put a little mark on there because I can always erase that. All right, because if that turns out perfectly, okay, I'm good with that. It's not 100% perfect, but it's perfect to me. All right, and I'm going to do, and the thing about it is if we do this I don't know if we can do all four at the same time, but we just have to be cognizant of where we're placing these stamps, because once you put it in the book, you're going to be able to see that it's off. So, all right. So I just lining it up with my, I'm going to put it on the very edge, I think, where, well, maybe I'll do like 1/4 of an inch there so I can remember that. Just make sure it's lined up on my edges here. I know this seems like a really tedious thing to do, but it's just that one thing that will be different. Alright, so I'm going to pop that out. Oh, I got it upside down. See, make sure you don't have it upside down. But hey, why not? Right? It could be upside down. No, I think I want them all going the same way. So we kind of have an idea what we wanted to do here. So actually, I'm going to see if this punch will go through 4 pieces of paper, because that would certainly make my life a lot simpler. So we did say we were going to just do a template first. You want to test it first before you do anything permanently. All right, so our measurements on that are 1.5 by 8. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all 4, because ideally I would love, if it will work, I'd love to be able to punch all 4 at the same time. That way I don't have to really be concerned about whether or not all my butterflies are lined up, because that's going to be kind of important. And so before we actually, you know, commit to the idea, we are going to line all of our photo mats, and then we're going to lay it on there, make sure that they all look okay. So that's 2. I don't know if you can see me cutting, but I don't know that you necessarily need to see me cutting, because you guys know how to cut. All right, so 8. It'll be interesting, to say the least, right? And don't throw these pieces away, because these are perfect for photo mats. Not that you would, but that's kind of my thinking when I have scraps. I'm sure y'all think the same thing. All right, and then another one, 1.5. All right, and see, I haven't lost much paper if it doesn't work. I've just lost a little bit, and really it was scraps anyway, so. And I don't know if this is going to work. This may be way too thick, but we're going to try it, by golly. We will see how good Martha Stewart's punches are. Didn't know this was going to be a review video, did you? I don't know. It might be bad. We may just do 2. I'm not sure. Well, you know what we can do, just to test it, is we can actually just double this up and just see if it'll punch through it. How about that? Before we mess up all of our stuff. Yeah, so that won't work at all. That's too thick. So if I just do 2, will that work? Yeah, that works. 2 works. All right. Okay, no shortcuts. Well, a little bit of shortcuts. And what we could do is, there's no rule that doesn't say, I mean, technically, what we could do, sorry, I told y'all we were going to do this together for the first time, so, and I really meant it. All right, so we could line all these up. Like that. And then we have our little butterflies that we cut. And we could just, and you know what, these are not a good color, so I will stamp some that are a good color where y'all can see what I'm doing. All right. So there's 1, 2. It's a cute little punch. And y'all might want to use a different design. You can use anything you want. Or you can just, you don't even have to put this little black strip. I'm just doing it because I think it might be visually pleasing. It's going to look like a design element on the side, so that's why I'm doing that. Okay, so we could just do like this. And the reason I'm laying it out like this is because sometimes it's really hard for me to get the butterflies at an even distance. So could do that. And I think that looks good. All right, so I'm going to move my butterfly. I'm actually gonna, I think I'm gonna go up, right here. Think of the higher, well, no, maybe it should be in the middle. All right. I hope this is helpful to y'all, because if not, you're miserable right now, but all right. I'm kind of good with that. I think that looks nice. I don't know if, yeah, you can see that. All right, and so it's gonna look like that when you open up the book, okay? So I'm just going to somehow make a little mark where my butterfly is gonna go, okay? Just so I have some idea. And you just want to make sure that when you're punching it, you try to keep it in the middle as much as you can. And then that way we don't have to worry about lining them up perfectly or you know, doing them the wrong way. So I do have my little lines there, so I'm going to go ahead and work with those lines, and I am going to flip it over. I've noticed a lot on these punches that they work better upside down. I don't know if y'all have the same deal, but alright, and then I'm just lightly pushing down so it'll hold my paper in place and I can see. Alright, I feel pretty good about that. Alright, we're going to cut that off. Alright, so that's what it's going to look like. And the really cool thing is what we could do. Yep, we got another idea. Alright, we'll do it. We're committing to this much already. Alright, I'm just going to line it up. And the reason why I put those little marks on there is just because I want it in the same general location. Just makes it easier for me because they're not perfect. That's okay. Alright. So we'll just put that on there so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. You can see the paper through. That's the reason why I wanted to do it. I wanted the paper to come up through. Alright, and then the next one. Alright, I'm just going to make sure that that looks good there. Okay. Alright. Okay. And the final one. It's interesting. Let me just see where I put that at. I got quite a bit on that edge. See how I have quite a bit on that edge? And I didn't really allow for that on the other one, so I'm going to try to do it right about the same. A bit down there. Come on. Work with me here. Alright. There, that looks okay. See? You think you can see that? Okay. Alright, so now what we're going to do is, yeah, I was going to do something, but I'm not going to do it now. What I was going to do was, see, that's why you have to think of every single thing. I was thinking that I could just use wet glue. And that might work. It's a hit or miss. See, I was thinking to use wet glue here, just on the edges. That way, if somebody wants to put a photo in there, it'll just slip right in like that. And that would be really neat. But the only concern that I have with that is that when you stick it in the pocket, you know, what is it? Is it going to get hung? I don't know. Oh, maybe not. It might work okay. That would be the only thing, is will it constantly get hung? And it looks like it might be okay. Can't really see the butterfly that much, can you? But you can. So, and you know, I would really like to see the butterfly more. So here, I told you, this is how I do it. I'd really like to see the butterfly more. I feel good that I allowed that much space in the very beginning so that my butterfly doesn't, so I have enough room to punch my butterfly. But I think what I might do is, I think I might trim it down. So I probably just like messed all y'all up, but that's so sorry. That's why we're playing with it here. So, but y'all get the general idea, and you can certainly play with something like this on your own when you're doing your book. So, like I said, you don't have to do it. So hopefully I'm not going to cut off too much because I don't want my butterfly to be weak. All right. So I just took off a sliver, and it looks like I have enough room to even take off more if I want. My thinking is that I really want that butterfly to show when the pages are closed or open. You know, I want you to be able to see it. So now the thing is, I just need to make sure that I can take off as much as I have on the other side. So hopefully it's pretty even. So I could still take off a little more if I wanted to. Let me see here. And I want that paper edge to show too. So I think I'm going to stick with that. I think it's, yeah, I think I'm going to stay with that. And then, you know, like, I think I already said this, but, you know, you can journal with a white pen there. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. So how am I going to get the other ones the same size? That's the question of the day. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to put this on here, just like this, to kind of match up to the butterfly. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just going to kind of, and I'm going to mark it so I know how much and where to take off. Sure enough, I'm going to get it on my good piece here. So that's why it's good to use a pencil. All right. I'm going to take off about that much there on that side. Use that same one as a template. Just kind of need an approximation because I really didn't take off like the same. I didn't measure it. That's what I'm saying. It almost looks like it's a perfect amount on either side though, so that might be sufficient. It looks like it's kind of like 1/8, really close to 1/8. So technically you could probably just take off 1/8 if you wanted to do that. All right, so I got that. And I'm going to do this one. And the funny thing is I got it pretty much the same on most of them. This one's a little off, but that's okay because when I use this for a template, it's going to even it up, hopefully. All right. So there's my template, or my actual piece that I'm going to use. I'm just going to move that out of the way. I'm going to have to clean up here pretty soon, aren't I? Make sure I'm recording, because the iPad does not notify you when you are not recording. Alright, so this was originally 1.5. I can probably just guess that it's going to be about 1/8 here. Alright. And honestly, if I couldn't get it exactly perfect on this scoreboard or this trimmer, I'd just do it with scissors, probably, if I have a steady hand. Alright, that looks pretty straight to me. Alright, I got a little bit of a line there, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to erase it. And the thing is, you could just flip them all back over, so. Alright, so we got those two done. I don't know if you can see those. Put them right there. Alright. And then I am just kind of, because these are 1.5, so I'm just kind of, well, if I can measure. Gosh, y'all, that's terrible. I never claimed to be a good measurer, though. That looks like that's good. You have to have some kind of measuring skill, but or you just have to be really resourceful. Alright, and then 1.5 when we went down there, so yep, that's pretty much 1/8 that I'm taking off of each side, so. But like I said, it's always better to go bigger than smaller. So you can fix something that's too big. And you might be able to fix something that's too small, but you just have to change your train of thought when you do that. So and then I'm just erasing my little pencil marks off there. Alright, and I got one right there too, so I'm going to get that off there. Alright, there we go. And then the next one, the last one, 1.5, so do about 1/8. I will tell you, it is nice. This board is nice to have these little guidelines. That really makes things a lot easier. The guillotine, I'm not sure how useful those are. Alright, but these, because this is like a scoreboard slash, it's not really a rotary cutter, but it's the same concept. But it's kind of nice. I think I was a little small on that, but let's see. Yeah, just a little bit. So that was 1.5. See if we can do a tiny little sliver. I'll be amazed. Nope. Note to self, although that looks really cool. Oh, that's funny. I'm sorry, I have this weird laugh. It kind of looks cool, but you know, that's not what I'm shooting for. I should have stopped while I was ahead. I thought just maybe it might work. Hey, you won't know unless you try, right? But it kind of gave it a distressed look, which was kind of cool. I don't know if I distressed it too much. We'll see. We might be doing this one over. That's okay. I'm not that worried about it. I'm just going to take a tiny sliver off of this if I can. If I have a steady hand. Let's see if I can deal with that. Let's see how far off it is. It's just a little bit smaller. Let me see how my other ones match up, if they're about the same width. Yep, those are good. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it over. I'm okay with it. You might want to get all that distressing off there. You never know unless you try, so please don't make fun of me too badly. Alright. And then this is 1 inch, it's almost 1/4. It's just on the inside side of 1/4. So be about right here. All right, make sure that it's the same width. Yep, good. Okay, and then I'm just gonna make sure that I do this the right side. Let me just double check. Got that one there. That one there. That one there. Okay, so this needs to be right side up, right there. Okay, so I'm just going to mark it right there. Take my Martha Stewart punch and turn it around. Yep, turn it around. Okay. And just make sure it looks straight as I can. All right, there we go. So that wasn't too painful. And we learned. We learned that the trimmer probably won't work if there's less than 1/8 of an inch to cut. And you know, all these little black butterflies, you can keep them. Or whatever you have there. These can certainly be used. And we could even just kind of sprinkle them through the book. And there you go. Again, you're carrying your theme through the book, which is always a good thing in my mind. All right, I don't know that you need to watch me clean up, but just so there's proof that I actually do clean up after I make a mess. All right, I'll probably just edit it out anyway, so. Okay, so now, get my glue. All right, so there are several different types of paper glue that I use. This is one of them, and this is a really nice glue. I forget the name of the other glue that I buy. It's in a clear bottle, and it has a blue label, and it is specifically for paper. And that is a really good glue for paper. And the reason why you want to use wet glue on here is because you don't want your papers to get stuck in the ATG tape. So, all right, let me just look at this again. Bring my book back. Put this here. Make sure everything's right side up. Put that in there. There you go. It gives it just a little bit of interest there, you know. I think that's cool. I think that will look nice. Okay. And what we do here by putting this black paper here is we make sense of all of our other black paper. Because there's not a lot of black in this paper. I mean, you can certainly use black paper, but there's not a lot of black in these images. And there kind of is, but you see what I'm saying? I'm just trying to make sense of every decision that I made. I wouldn't use, you know, like for instance, I probably wouldn't use red if there were no red in there, you know, something like that. All right, so I think I am going to try to just glue here, here, and here. That way you can slip a photo underneath. And just remember, because you dry fit, just remember where your butterfly is going. That's the biggest thing. All right, so try not to flip my paper around. This is Scotch Quick Dry Adhesive. It doesn't really make your paper wrinkle, which is the reason why you want to use particular glues in this case. If your paper wrinkles, then you may have to put a photo mat on the other side. Not a big deal, whatever. So, and you'll always have that option. And try not to put too much like I just did there. I think I cut the tip a little too big, but that's okay. I'm just going to use my fingers. All right. Make sure I'm going the right way here. Yeah. That's actually a really easy way to do that too, is just use your fingers. If you don't draw a perfect line like me, like I, with the glue, that way you don't put too much glue. Just drag it. Like, that might be too much, but we'll see. Keep it off the other side. Although this glue does dry clear, but and that's probably way too much. You probably don't need that much at all. Alright, I'm probably just gonna, I know y'all are like, what is she doing? I just don't want that much glue on there. I probably should do this off screen. That way you're not punished with all this torture. But it's another way, right? You get the perspective of another person. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that. I would like to get that glue off there though. Alright. And like I said, it is going to dry clear, so. And then I want it to have just the right amount of ledge or edge. And just wipe off your excess glue. Might even be good to have a paper towel. Maybe a slight damp paper towel. But I didn't dampen, so just wipe off as much as you can. Alright, and if you get glue on there and it looks crazy when it's dry, that just gives you another opportunity to do something creative along the ledge. So don't look at them as errors, just look at them as opportunity. Alright, so we'll just dry fit that in there to see what it's going to do. Yeah, okay. So basically that's what that's going to look like. And say that this, I don't think I have another piece that's long enough. Well, I do. If it completely is too bold for you, you could take another piece of a designer paper and just put it in there like that. So you have options. But I like that. I think that looks, I think it looks good, and I think it's going to help me anchor my decision to go with black cardstock. So if you did your book in blue cardstock, you could do that with your blue. It just makes it all that more, makes sense. So there you go. And then you have enough on the tag. Somebody can tell that that's not part of the page and that that's an actual tag. So that looks, to me, it looks good. Because the tape has kind of a black feel too. So actually it makes visual sense. Okay, I'm going to stop explaining because y'all will be wore out by the time we're done with this video. Okay. Alright, so this is my second one. What did I do with my pages? Hopefully I put them in a safe place. Here they are. And let's bring these down here, put the top on the glue because it'll dry. So the next page, we've got this yellow scene here. Ooh, yeah, going with that. Let's see, I've got that same design there. So I'm going to go with that piece of paper. And that we are cutting at 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. So 5 1/2. I said 5 1/2. 5 1/2. Okay. All right, and 8 1/4. All right. You know what? That's okay. We're inking. The edge is a little, I did ink that one, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Okay. The edge is a little white there from being torn out of the pad. It's the edge of the paper, but once we ink it, nobody will ever know. Thank goodness for inking. Okay. When I first started doing books, I never inked. But then, you know, I realized that the inking actually, it gets rid of that white core, which is really nice, which is why you ink. So, at least that's why I ink. Not necessarily for the aged look, although that's nice on most papers. But my biggest goal is just to get rid of that white core. Okay. Just something else to think about. We're still recording. We are. Uh-oh, out of tape. Okay, at this point I'm going to pause it and I will be back.